All right, so welcome to Woman.
Hi,
So tell the world who you are.
I'm Janelle, and I'm 22 years old, and I'm very happy to be here.
All right, thank you for being here.
Of course.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
So, Janelle,
hmm
tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how did it shape you as a woman in your
hmm
mind.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm 22 years old. When I think back to my upbringing, my mom, she had me when she was 21, and I think about all the morals she instilled in me, and things that she put onto me that I wouldn't even know how to do at this age. So, for example, keeping me in the church, keeping my brain down the right path, just keeping me aligned with the right things, and I feel like I wouldn't want it any other way, and I'm very blessed for the way I was brought up. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
So your mom played a big part.
Very big part.
Got
Very
you.
big part.
Okay, and you see that a lot with women. I think I've asked every woman that question, and most of them say the same thing.
Yeah,
Like their mother, either their mother or grandmother or aunt, some woman played a
exactly.
big part. So
Exactly.
that's cool. All right. So when you hear the word woman,
Mm.
so what is the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the word woman?
Ooh, okay. Okay, when I hear the word woman, my first thing would be girl. And so when I think about a girl, I think about the shift from a girl to a woman. I think about the mindset change. I think about the work you have to put in. And then when you become that woman, that's endurance, that's durality, it's just a lot of inner work to become a woman. And yeah, that's what I think about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So, in your opinion,
hmm
what do you feel like is the biggest challenge today for women?
Oh, biggest challenge. Um, ooh, I feel like the biggest challenge would be being seen for what we are. We're women. Like we're gonna be more emotional. We're gonna be more, hormonal. But within that, we still can. I'm trying to see how to say it. We still can function properly. Like we deserve to have equal standards. We deserve to be put in the same field, same positions. Like and not just looked over because she's gonna be emotional or she's gonna handle this differently. I feel like
Right.
that's.
So you think that
hmm
society, or I guess men, think that because y'all are emotional that y'all can't handle certain things, or y'all don't deserve to be in certain spots because you
Yeah,
emotional?
yeah. I think not men, society, because I
Society.
think women do it to other women.
Okay.
It's just a general basis of like, oh well, they're gonna be too emotional or they're gonna be flip floppy. And I get it. A lot of women don't know how to control your emotions, but that's when you make the change. You got to
Gotcha.
make that change within yourself so you can be put into those settings to show I'm different. Like this don't
Gotcha.
control me.
So is that a hard thing to do, you think, for women to do? To put themselves in that kind of a mindset?
Um, I wouldn't say it's easy, but I feel like if you want something hard enough, you're gonna go for it. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So in what area do you think women can do better?
Uh, ooh, do better. I think I think grace. I think we show a lot of grace, and within us showing a lot of grace, it leaves a lot of room for people to stand over our boundaries. So you have to create those boundaries within yourself so that way you're not overextending your grace. And when I say that, I'm gonna speak on discernment. When you have discernment, you handle stuff differently. You move about things different ways. So I feel like once you build up your discernment skills and you get to a point where you can recognize things for what they are, then you will stand on your boundaries more and you will give grace, but give grace when it's needed and not just because.
Cool. So you're using words like grace and discernment. So
Yeah.
so are you big on God?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so
I'll
so
say
what do
that.
you feel like, as a woman, like where does God stand, or where should God stand, in women's lives? Like, do you think that, because grace is a good thing to have,
Yeah.
but I guess when you use it too much, it's a
Right.
bad thing. So,
Right.
women who I think maybe have God or have God like mindset might give more so grace. So how do women balance out having God, having giving the grace? How do they get that to be a balanced thing?
That's such a good question. So I feel like I'm gonna give such a generic answer, but I feel like getting in your word and actually building a relationship with God, and like I keep saying, doing the inner work. That's how you get to a point of knowing how much grace to give with people, with situations, with yourself, because we lack grace within ourselves. If I'm being honest,
Absolutely.
so I think it's just about taking the time and putting it in with yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what do you feel? How can I word this? What is woman's biggest impact today? So basically, in so many words, what do you feel like women's place right now? Like, what are y'all thriving in right now that just has put like a humongous thumbprint?
I think I think our nurturing nature. That's what I would say. I feel like the world thrives off of nurture, and when you nurture something, you grow it. You plant a seed, you water it, you grow it, you nurture it. I think the world thrives off of a woman's touch, which is nurturing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So what about the women that may lack nurturing skills? Because all women don't have that. So, like for example, do you think right now? Do you think that women have um, positive role models?
I feel like it depends on your upbringing. It depends on your circumstance, your situation. Anybody could have a positive role model, anybody couldn't. So that's once again when you talk to yourself and you say, okay, I don't like this about myself, or I don't like how I act with this. Let me fix this. Let me make the change. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. All good. So, big question.
Okay.
Do you feel like men are doing a good enough job of understanding women?
Ooh,
And when I say men, I don't just mean a boyfriend or husband. It could be a
right.
father, brother, cousin, just men in general.
Um, I feel like there is a big disconnect. And I feel like the disconnect comes from the emotional versus logical perspective. So when I say that, like I said earlier, women are more emotionally based. We can be logical, but we're just more emotionally based versus men who are more logical. So in a situation where a man comes at a woman with logic, a woman has to come back with logic. If a woman comes at a man with emotions, he has to come back with emotions. And when I say that, I'm not saying, oh, she's yelling, she's crying, so you gotta yell and cry. No, if she's coming at you expressing her feelings or concerns on something, and she trusts you enough with her emotions and her heart in any circumstance, father, brother, spouse, then you have to come back with that nurturing manner that you see that she's been using on you to help better the situation, and then that's when she comes back and meets you with that logic. So I feel like if we just understand that we all are different, we are wired different, men and women, then it'll be a lot easier for us to understand and connect at a better level.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer. All right. So, last question.
Okay.
If you could go back in time, like 4 years ago when you was still a kid, because you're
Ooh,
still
Lord.
young, if you could go back in time
Uh-huh.
and talk to a younger version of yourself,
Oh,
basically a little girl, a child,
okay.
what advice would you give to her?
This a little touchy. I would say I would say it's okay. Like that's how I would start off. It's okay. And I would say take your time. I speak on clearly the Bible a lot in my position with that. And I would say, like, you got to trust that it's God's will. You can't keep looking for your will because you're going to keep going down this whirlpool of overthinking and anxiety. And you really just gotta sit in with yourself and realize like everything is gonna happen according to plan. You know, it might not be going the way you want. But that don't mean in the next 2, 3 weeks, years, that it's not gonna be going the way it's supposed to be. So I would say like, just calm down, take it slow, relax, and live life and go about the journey. That's what I would say.